Hello and welcome to Mr. Eisman's World History 1 class. Today we're going to be going over the geography of ancient Egypt, which is a very exciting subject since this is one of the three major river valley civilizations we're going to be covering in this unit. The most important aspect of the ancient Egyptian civilization from a geographic perspective is the Nile River. The Nile River is the second biggest river in the world and flows northwards. As we can see here from our topographic map, the elevation of Egypt is towards the southern part of the country, and the Nile River Valley, through erosion, which is the process of wind and water over millions of years carving out a valley, resulted in the river flowing northwards. So the Nile River was the lifeblood of the ancient Egyptian civilization. It provided them with everything they really needed to get their civilization flourishing, and they worshipped it as a crocodile-headed god named Sobek. So going over here to our cool little video, we can see how the Sahara Desert dominates North Africa. It is the main geographic feature of Northern Africa and is a desert biome, meaning it has low levels of rainfall, and it has, in this particular desert, has sand, wind, and that's pretty much it. It's the biggest desert in the world, and there's not a whole lot going on there if you want to build a civilization. Now we can see over here this little strip of green that is the Nile River. There is some stuff to build a civilization on. Because as we can see in this figure right here, the gift of the Nile. The river provides this little strip of green before the rest of the desert. The Nile River consistently flooded every year, and that is so key for the Egyptian civilization because it allowed them to know that they're going to have food every year. The river would deposit river mud on the banks, and that fertile soil, which was very rich in nutrients, allowed the Egyptians to plant crops consistently. And once you have food down as a civilization, then you can build off and do cool stuff like build the pyramids and the Sphinx and other fun features of the Egyptian civilization, a lot of which are still around today as part of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. So not only did the Nile River dominate Egyptian life, it also provided them with fertile soil and then a highway connecting lower and upper Egypt, as we can see here on this map. They didn't have cars, planes, or trains back then. The quickest way to get from point A to point B was to hop on a boat and let the river do the work instead of having to walk there yourself or ride on a horse or camel, as they had in ancient Egypt. So economically, the Nile River provided ancient Egyptians with food and trade. Militaristically, it allowed them to transport their troops up and down their territory. And politically, it connected their kingdom culturally, allowing a person from point A, maybe in the lower Egypt, to travel upriver to up here in Lake Nasser, something that would be virtually impossible in a civilization that wasn't connected by a life-bringing river valley. So the number 1 geographic feature of ancient Egypt was the Nile River. The second was the Sahara Desert right here. The third was up here, the Mediterranean Sea. This provided them access to Europe in the north. Up here we can see Greece and Turkey, and then the Middle East over here where we can see what is today modern-day Jordan. Now, this feature right here, the Red Sea, and we can see all these labeled right here on our map in this figure, separated the African continent and Egypt from the Arabian Peninsula and the Asian continent. So those are the 4 major features of ancient Egyptian civilization that we wanted to cover in this video. The Nile River was the lifeblood of the ancient Egyptian civilization. The Sahara Desert dominates the landscape of North Africa. The Mediterranean Sea gives ancient Egypt access to Europe in the north and the Middle East in the east. And then the Red Sea separates Africa from the Arabian Peninsula and the Asian continent, and also provided them access to the Indian Ocean and trade with kingdoms and civilizations